Monolingual situation. Before we move on to bilingual situation, let's think about a monolingual situation. So a monolingual situation would be a situation where there is a single language that is used throughout, and it performs all the different functions. Now, as we discussed, these different functions can be communicative, that is, this need to communicate your feelings or whatever you would like to do with other people. It is cognitive, that is, it is needed to somehow express more abstract concepts like we do in education or academics or in science or in other disciplines. And other than that, beyond communicative, it is also social. So when we say it is communicative, that would mean we need to perform only certain tasks. But in social, when we say social function, it involves maintenance of social relationships. So it's beyond communication, although the areas of communication and social aspect would overlap. Now, in a monolingual situation, we will have only one language, and that one language is performing all these three functions. But this language again will still be related to issues of power. So within that language also, you will have certain variety, a high variety and a low variety, a variety that of the same language that you would use when you are talking to somebody that is of higher station or has more power, and a variety of language that you will be talking or using when talking to children or to your own peers. An example in this regard is that just take the example of, for instance, the Urdu that you use in homes. So the kind of Urdu, the same language that all the families sharing, if you use it with your elders, then the vocabulary changes, the way you speak it changes, your tone changes, and if you speak to peers, then it changes, and if you're speaking to the children, then it changes again. On a state level, in a society, there would be even more differences, and there could actually be a variety which we can say a high variety and a low variety that is commonly used. In any case, even in a monolingual society, there will be operative what we call a linguistic market. What is a linguistic market? A linguistic market would be the wider society within which how you speak a language, even if it is the same language, will be judged or valued differently. So even when you are speaking in Urdu, but you have a different accent, different from the dominant accent, you will be, that language or your skill of that language will be valued differently. So in response to those linguistic market, we have family, we have schools, we have workplaces which are all operating in the same linguistic market. Even here, even in a monolingual situation, we need to remember that in interactions, the words that we use have been used by previous generations. That means they have a history, they have a connotation, and they are loaded with power relationships. The difference between tum and aap, for instance, denotes a power relationship. Whether you call somebody by the first name or you call somebody by Tajammal Sahab, you add Sahab. It's loaded with power relationships. So in a monolingual situation also the thing will be the same, and it will be judged in a linguistic hierarchy. So we are saying that this social hierarchy in the linguistic market is not just embedded in how you use the language, it is also embedded in your access to learn the standard language. So you would have schools where you have to pay a higher fee to learn a standard mode of that language, even if it is a monolingual situation. And the few schools that would be charging low might be the schools where you might not come across that standard language that is valued more in the linguistic market. And when you use that language, or somehow you disclose your social background. What is standard language? It's only, there is nothing inherent within the language that makes it standard. It is dictated by relations of power. The elite's language would always be the language that everyone would like to learn. It will be dictated by market forces, but also individual perceptions. And it is the social networks within which an individual operates that is going to be the locus of power, or somehow a help in maintaining or transforming that language. Remember, the lower variety of the language in a monolingual situation or a regional accent will always be there for bonding relationships, while the dominant accent or dominant variety of a language will be there to sort of enable what we call linking social capital, enable you to link with higher people or people in the higher social status.